Okay, so we got new Bandit EVO gameplay. It looks awesome. We got to talk about it. We also have an update to the ranked extraction game mode I want to touch on that I think might affect all of Halo Ranked. And then speaking of ranked, Forbidden. I want to talk about this new map a little bit and some things I've noticed. But a short video today, and that's because we got a big weekend ahead of us. In case you didn't know, this weekend is the Halo World Championship. It's the biggest Halo event of the entire year. You don't want to miss this. Whether you're a Halo veteran or if you literally just discovered this game like a week ago, I highly recommend you watch this with me. I'm doing a watch party on Twitch. This is bigger than just a Halo event. Everything that these teams have worked towards competing against each other all culminates to this moment. But there's more than just competition happening. There's going to be Season 5 gameplay shown at the event. There's a 2v2 side tournament happening with the new Season 5 settings. We've got drops as well that anyone can get for free just by watching or keeping the broadcast open throughout the weekend. You get access to some exclusive skins. And, you know, here they are. If you come by the stream, I'm going to help you through this whole process so we can make sure that you guys get all the, the downloadables if you want this stuff. They got weapon charms as well, the sweep success, and there's this trophy that you can get for tuning in, I think, for the grand finals or Championship Sunday and grand finals. Really, though, it's about the spectacle, in my opinion. Like, Halo Esports is hype, dude. It is inspiring to watch the best teams in the world with the highest stakes on the line. I'm going to be there reacting and getting hype with chat as well and breaking stuff down to the best of my ability. So if you're new to Halo, you're trying to understand what the hype is about, why Halo Esports is so awesome, I'm going to do my best to bridge the gap for you. It's going to be a good time. So that starts tomorrow. Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern is when the broadcast starts. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're watching the whole thing, man. I hope I see you there, because that's really what I'm focused on right now. Like, this tournament is going to be awesome. But in the meantime, so is this new weapon, right? This Bandit EVO looks like everything I've ever hoped for from a precision starting weapon in Halo. Now, thanks to Extreme Breaker. He is a YouTube creator. I've linked this original video in the description of my video, so you can watch this yourself if you want. We don't have access to audio. Like, he's got voiceover commentary here, and there's no gameplay audio. So the one thing I don't know about this weapon is how it sounds. And like I talked about in my Bandit versus BR review in my last video, if you haven't seen that, check it out. I think the audio is a big part of whether or not this weapon will stand as a starting weapon. But as far as what they've done with it, like, everything looks pretty perfect, in my opinion. And you know, what I had hoped for. So we see the scope, obviously, 1.6 times scope. And there's a descope functionality to it, so you'll get knocked out of scope. The reticle is a big deal, though, right? And we talked about how it looks like the Halo 5 reticle. It absolutely does. The circle in the center of it is definitely smaller, so it's more pinpoint precise than Halo 5's Magnum was. Understandably, it's going to have less aim assist, less bullet magnetism than Halo 5 did. But you can also tell there's no bloom. The reticle does move and sort of expands per shot, but it resets by the end of the shot before he fires another one. So there is no bloom. It's just perfectly precise, which is great. On top of that, if there is kick with the weapon, it looks like it's nowhere near as powerful as the kick that we saw back on the original Bandit. When that came out, there was, significant, noticeable kick on the other Bandit. This looks pretty straight shooting, right? Like, it looks like there's not much kick, if any at all, and really just seems like a carbon kind of copy of the Halo 5 Magnum, which, in my opinion, is awesome. If you're a competitive Halo type fan player and you want something that feels balanced and competitive, this is the way to go, man. And I think especially if you're an M&K player, having access to a weapon like this, game changer, right? Like, this is just going to make the game feel a lot more consistent. As far as the issue that I had with the weapon shooting out of the lower portion of the reticle, that feeling that I had with the Bandit, obviously I can't tell until we use the weapon, like, what it feels like shooting this, but it looks like they fixed that. Like, it just looks good, man. I'm optimistic. I'm excited to try this weapon out, and I'm excited to see the 2v2 tournament happening showing this weapon. So Tashi announced on Twitter that there's a 2v2 tournament coming up featuring Bandit starts. He basically confirmed that the new settings will have Bandit starts. The one thing he didn't confirm is whether or not it's going to be just Bandit as the starting weapon for the new settings, or if Bandit will share the spotlight with the BR. And I'm curious what you guys think about this, but could the Bandit and the BR share the spotlight? Like, imagine being able to just choose off every life, choose if you want to spawn with a BR or with a bandit. And now that they've kind of leveled things out, like if we think about it, the bandit, as far as what I remember, has a slightly faster time to kill than the BR does. And clearly, you know, it's going to be more effective in a shorter to a mid-range, I think, than the BR, especially considering this looks like it doesn't have kick, right? So it might actually be easier to use than the current bandit and competitive with the current BR. As far as long range, BR is going to beat it out. I just wonder if, like, is there a way to balance the two so that you could have both share the spotlight? Or is the existence of a BR as an option going to, you know, kill the competitive potential of the bandit, right? Like, will people just choose the BR all the time because they can choose the BR is kind of the question. But, you know, it'd be nice if we could see some sort of a perfect harmony where nobody's upset. But as far as just like the balance of how this weapon looks, I'm super optimistic. I think it looks great. So I guess let me know what you think in the comments. Should Bandit and BR share the spotlight and give you the option to choose between the two of them basically every time you die? Or should it be just Bandit? Or should we have Bandit depending on the map and BR depending on the map? I think either way, we're going to find out this weekend with the 2v2 tournament, because Tashi and 343 will be confirming the actual settings at the tournament. So make sure you're watching it with me. As far as this map, though, just a couple things I've noticed with this map is there's like a vent shaft, sort of, like it's kind of like Bazaar. If you play Bazaar, there's the ventilation kind of area Bazaar where it's crouch height. You can sit inside it. This drops you down to a lower hallway portion of the map. It's interesting. What do we think of this? There's one on each side. This map is huge, was the other criticism of the map as well. I've been trying to play devil's advocate on that and thinking, like, is the fact that this map is huge, like, notice how there's a corridor that goes all the way down there? This is a base right here. The flag spawns, like, here. And then this corridor turns left, and there's more behind the base. It just seems like excess space on the map. What I was thinking is, what if this is good because of Halo Infinite's spawn system? Like, if you look at a map like Catalyst, for example, huge map as well, but the spawn area of the map in Catalyst is actually very small and straightforward, and it's very easy to abuse those spawns. We saw that clip from Collect recently where he's basically, it's a nasty clip, but he's basically just abusing spawns. You can't do that on this map. So maybe this extra space on the map is a good thing, and it might ensure that players spawn behind the flag runner instead of in front of the flag runner blocking the run. Like in Argyle, because of the size of the map again and the way the spawns are laid out, people are spawning in front of the flag carrier, and it's kind of affecting balance. So maybe this map isn't as big, or it won't play or feel as big as we think it is. Maybe the extra size will be useful for spawns. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to be optimistic here. I hope we get a good competitive map that's dev made. We haven't had that in a while. And the last thing I want to touch on is an update to the Extraction game mode and just some of my thoughts on how this mode is going to work in comparison to others. But 343 released an article about Extraction yesterday. I've linked the article in the description. Essentially, they mentioned that in the ranked version of Extraction, you'll spawn with 1 frag instead of 2. And it got me thinking, is that something they're going to apply to all of ranked? And is that a good idea? Right now, we spawn with 2 frags. I know that there's a criticism that there's, you know, some nade spam in competitive Halo sometimes. I think frags are pretty powerful. They've been nerfed, you know, earlier in like Season 2. They got a little nerfed. They got a little better. But is spawning with 1 frag the way? You know, now you're going to have to be a lot more careful with how you use that 1 frag. It's going to be a lot less nade spam. You're going to have to be more sandbox aware as well of where the nades are spawning so you can take advantage of them. So I think I might like this for all other modes, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it. But it will be happening in Extraction. A couple things about Extraction as well. It's a 5-second, I believe, arm time to like start the extraction process, and then you have to protect for 45 seconds. I watched the IGN gameplay and timed it out, and then it's a 5-second convert time as well. Once you've started it, everybody can leave and go wherever they want. Technically speaking, you're not tied to a hill like you are in King of the Hill. So we might see some pretty interesting setups that like complement the extraction placement, where people are kind of like, you know, I mean, hopefully not corner camping, but who knows, you know, positioning themselves around it and not necessarily near it. Also note that when you are extracting and when you're converting, it lets the whole game, everybody playing, know that that conversion is happening. So if you are like last player, it's not like a bomb defuse, let's say, in like Search and Destroy where it's silent. Everybody's going to know that you're converting. So that's interesting too. Like, you know, on one hand, you're thinking that's going to make it very hard to convert a point if you're down numbers. Can you use it as a mind game, though? Maybe. Like, can you start a conversion to pull the attention and then stop it? And I don't know, right? Like, I think there's going to be some interesting dynamics to this game type that I didn't fully consider. On top of the fact that once you get into the location where you can extract, I think you can sit anywhere for your extract point. You don't have to, like, sit in a specific spot as long as it's within the zone. So, I don't know, man. I'm excited for something new with this mode. And, you know, I hope it's good. I hope it's competitive. And for now, that's all I got. We're going to find out a lot more very soon about this season and how everything's going to work. So our questions will be answered. You can see me react to all of it live when we watch the tournament this weekend. And we're going live tonight on twitch.tv/the Shyway for a little Worlds pre-show just to get ourselves ready for the event. I am very excited for this weekend. So hopefully I'll see you there. But otherwise, if you haven't heard my full thoughts on Season 5 so far, I've got that right beside me and more. This is the way.